In a case that was hanging fire for a while, there is finally some clarity. So the Supreme Court today has ordered two 40-story towers in Noida to be demolished by the developer, that is Supertech, within the next 3 months. The developer has to pay for the demolishment and ensure that everything is done properly. And they also have to refund money to all home buyers who had booked flats in those two towers within 2 months with an interest payment of 12%. They also have to pay the Resident Welfare Association, who have complained and petitioned against them, 2 crore rupees. Now, this is the Supreme Court upholding an Allahabad High Court order earlier, which said the same thing. The fight essentially is about the Resident Welfare Association of Emerald Court, which was developed by Supertech, protesting against the addition of two 40-story towers in what was supposed to be their green open space. And that's why this litigation has been going on for a while. Finally, the courts have ruled in the favor of the home buyers and the residents who live over there. So our colleague Samir spoke today to some of those home buyers at the venue. Take a look.
In a major setback to real estate company Supertech, Supreme Court has ordered the demolition of two 40-story tower in Supertech Emerald project. And right now we are at ground zero, and this is the tower. This is those two 40-story tower which has been ordered, which has been said by Supreme Court to be demolished. As of now, you can see the entire construction was not completed. The project is still at 31st or 32nd floor. But yes, Supreme Court has said that this entire construction is illegal, is unauthorized, and is a clear case of collusion between the Noida authority official and the Supertech developer. In its order, Supreme Court has clearly said that entire project home buyers will be properly compensated. The money has to be refunded with a 12% interest, and that has to be paid by Supertech. In addition, rupees 2 crore will be given to RWA for the entire proceeding. Now the demolition exercise has to be done within 3 months. Within 3 months, these two twin towers need to be demolished, and the cost of demolition, the entire cost of demolition, has to be borne by the Supertech developer. Supreme Court has upheld the Allahabad High Court order, which was there in year 2014, and Allahabad High Court also made the remark or the judgment that this construction is illegal and it needs to be demolished. Now Supreme Court has upheld that order and has said that this construction, these two towers are illegally constructed and need to be demolished within 3 months.
ये सच है कि बहुत सालों से धूप नहीं देखी थी, शायद अब देख पाऊंगा. So we are thankful to the judgment and the justice, and we believe in Indian judiciary. It is the best. There could be some delay, but the justice is never denied.
अगर ये सारे फ्लैट होते तो ये सोसाइटी नहीं रहती, एक क्लस्टर बन जाता. सारी एमिनिटीज शेयर होती और हमारे यहाँ पार्किंग टाइट हो जाती. सारी एमिनिटीज यहीं की.
All right, those were some of the residents who are very, very happy that these towers will now be demolished and their original plan, which was shown to them by the developer, will be what they get. So Vikas Singh, president of the Supreme Court Bar Association, and he was also representing Supertech in this particular case, is with us on the show this evening. Anuj, Puri, chairman of ANAROCK, is also with us. Welcome to the show to both of you. Mr. Singh, first, your comments on the judgment is already out and we know what has happened in this case, but I want to understand from you what the wider implications are for a lot of developments, for a lot of housing societies where there is a dispute on similar grounds between the Residents Welfare Association and the developer.
Well, to be honest, I personally feel that this judgment has clearly a bias towards the RWA, because there were several arguments to non-suit the RWA, and those arguments, even though noticed, have not been dealt with. Secondly, I feel that the judgment has missed the shaft for the grain. So, they have done nitpicking that this affidavit said this and that affidavit said this, but they have missed the larger point that if it was permitted, it was permitted. If it was not, it was not. So they have really not gone into that aspect at all of what was argued. And they have really non-suited the developer by saying that you have been shifting your stands here and there, which actually was not so. Because, when you argue a particular matter, you try to take all the points which are in your favor. And sometimes one point may be contradictory to the other. And both can survive independently. So they have taken those nitpicking details and they have said that this is how we feel that the developer should not be given any relief. And the larger issue which you tell me is actually a very serious issue, and I think either the UP government should bring in a law to retrospectively change the regulation, or some drastic measures will have to be taken, because the way they have interpreted it, I'll tell you, all the building blocks, wherever there are towers built next to each other or adjacent to each other or near to each other, they will all be held to be illegal. Now, Supreme Court towers are also built in that fashion. They are also built in, say, 3, 4, 5 meters apart. There are other towers in Noida. There are Magnolia, for instance, in Gurgaon, entirely is built towers touching every other tower. 20 towers have been built like that. And the law is the same there as well. So if this judgment is to be, and this was all shown to the judges, that this judgment will have far-reaching implications, and they have not understood that, according to me. So I think that, and plus also it was shown that the 2016, the last regulation or the which has been approved by the DDA, also permits a 6-meter difference. Even that they have not taken into consideration. So clearly the judgment showing a bias towards the RWA. And feeling that every builder is wrong.
So Mr.
Every
Singh,
builder.
Yeah. So no, Mr. Singh, are you going to pursue? Is your client going to pursue any further legal procedure, since you feel that this is completely unfair to you, which is natural because the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of the residents? So are you going to take this further legally?
Yes. So as far as the legal process is concerned, there are only 2 remedies available to the builder. As far as the builder is concerned, one is a review, which will go to the same judges, so there is no hope in that. But after the review, there is a possibility of a curative petition, which will go to the 5 senior judges, including the 2 to 3 senior judges, including these 2 judges. So that's where, if at all, any relief will come. But I personally feel that Noida authority should step in, or UP government should step in and amend the law retrospectively to regularize these kind of buildings. Otherwise, this judgment will upset a large number of similar constructions, and they will all be held to be illegal. Now, if you see, if there is a illegality, and if the building is wrongly sanctioned, whoever may be the owner of the building, they will all have to be demolished. So according to me, this is a very, very bad judgment, and it has just gone on prejudice. It has not gone on law. Several arguments, although notice, have not been dealt with. So I personally feel that, of course, the developer will have to take the legal recourse, whatever it has. But I doubt whether the legal recourse will, bear any result to him. The real result may come either in the curative petition, or if there is a intervention
or
by
from the UP government.
UP.
Right. So this is Vikas Singh's own views. We absolutely respect the take of the Supreme Court. That is the highest court and the law of this land, and their judgment, of course, is final. So we're not arguing or discussing the merits of this case. We're looking at its wider implications for the kind of relationship between home buyers and developers, and that is the context in which we're having this conversation. And Anuj Puri, I'd like you to come in that context. So the case over here is an interesting one, because it's not merely about how much distance is there between the towers, which, as Vikas Singh points out, may be a problem with many other kinds of constructions as well. It's also about the buyers being told and shown one thing, and then another thing eventually happening. They were told that this is going to be green open space, and then suddenly 240-story towers come upon there, and that was part of their argument as well. So what are the implications, in your view, for the kind of trust or lack of sometimes between buyers and developers?
So Tamanna, one, I would not be able to comment on what Mr. Vikas said. I think he makes an interesting point, and I was listening to it very attentively. There is some argument that he's made. I'm not capable on commenting on that. But the interesting point that you say is that what is the ramification between the developer and the buyer? So, clearly these are a lot of stuff was done pre-RERA. Tamanna. And, you know, a lot of this is getting flushed out at this moment in time. You know, post RERA, the sanction plan is put up on the website. So you're going, as a buyer, you're able to see the sanction plan when you are buying it. You know, I was reading the Honorable Supreme Court's judgment, and one of the things that they've said is that the sanction plan was not made available to the buyers, which is going forward not going to be the case, because under RERA, this is going to be provided for. And that really brings in the benefit and the cleansing of the entire system, given the new legislation that has happened with RERA. But clearly, I was also listening to what you know, Samir, your reporter, put together from the residents, and it does appear that, you know, they are rejoicing given the award that has been given to the resident home buyers of money being paid with 12% interest and RWA being paid another 2 crores of penalty. And, you know, obviously from the buyer's point of view, they may be rejoicing. But as I said, is, you know, Vikas has some valid arguments, and, you know, hopefully the merits of the case as it goes on will unfold further.
Absolutely. You know, the bigger point is that do buyers get what they are promised? And will that sort of lack of faith, which has marred the real estate industry for years, is that beginning to change, especially with RERA now being in force for quite some time? This is anyway a very interesting judgment which will definitely have far-reaching implications. Thank you so much, Vikas Singh and Anuj Puri, for joining us on that conversation today. That's all the time we have on the India development debate. But stay tuned. Reboot India coming up next.